one thing I wanted to talk about was that things get better. I know that it may not seem like it right now. And if you clicked on this video, then I'm going to assume that maybe things right now are not that good. But I was in a similar position literally just a few months ago. Things felt pretty hopeless. And it was a few things like built on top of each other that made me feel that way. Uh, One was university. I'm in my final year of university, and I was coming to terms with the idea that maybe I have just wasted 3 years and gone into a lot of debt for a degree that maybe I don't like, and that would lead into jobs that I do not want to do. But and coming to terms with that, and the idea that maybe I'm gonna pigeonhole myself into a life that I'm going to hate. And then on top of that, me and my girlfriend were going through like a tough time, I suppose. And these two things combined together led to me feeling genuinely depressed. Especially because me and my girlfriend agreed to go on a break. And prior to this, my girlfriend was sort of the only person I knew how to lean on, the only person I could look to. And without giving too much away, that's kind of what the issue was. I needed her at a time, and she couldn't be there for me or be the emotional support that I needed. Um, and she needed to be doing her own thing. And I don't want to get too much into it because it's resolved now. But it was really difficult and stressful, honestly. Because I was not emotionally equipped to deal with my own issues or to even seek help from other people, because the only person I knew how to seek help from was her. And even then, I don't feel like I ever really had much to lean on her for. But yet, she was the only person that I knew how to be myself around, and the only person that I could, the only shoulder I thought I had to lean on. But it was not a good time. There was literally a week straight where I would sleep like 18 hours a day, and I would do it just because the only thing I would dream about was her and being with her and spending time with her. It's it's like depressing, and it sounds stupid. It sounds genuinely, like, thinking back on that time, it sounds so stupid. But I would genuinely stay in bed, miss all my lectures for a week straight, didn't leave my bed other than to piss and to eat, so that I could keep dreaming about her. That's insane. That's crazy talk. But that's where I was. I knew I had to change, and I was taking steps. Even at that point, I was already taking steps to better myself, and it didn't seem like it was working. The university gives you 5 free counseling sessions, and I think you can get 5 more on top of that if after 5 you don't feel um, like it's sufficient. I was taking my 5 free counseling sessions. I was going to the gym. I was trying to eat healthy. That part was difficult, but I was also writing in my diary. And at the time, everything I read in that journal was really depressing and doomer. And looking back on it now, it's almost cringeworthy. But that's where I was. And every day felt like almost longer than the last. But somehow, um, things started to feel better. The journaling, the gym. I was writing poetry. I still try to write poetry. I still want to keep up the creativity. The eating healthy. I started leaning on my friends. I started honestly leaning on myself in ways I never had before. I came to appreciate those who are there for me, and I think I now recognize who the people are that will always make time for me and always be there for me, no matter what, even when they're going through, their own things, their own internal, sometimes external problems. I know who those people are now, but it was slow, and just 3 months ago, I wouldn't have thought that it I could be looking back on this as if it were crazy. But here I am on the other side. I don't just want to say that you have to hold out hope, but because it can't start and end with hope. It has to. Hope is a big part, but you have to take the steps to better yourself. And it's not just about being motivated, because anyone can do anything when they're motivated, you know? But what do you do when you're not motivated? Like, okay, so one of my big things was going to the gym. I wanted to go to the gym 3 or 4 times a week. And 1 week I only went one day. And I went to my counseling session the next day, and I was super depressed already. But on top of that, I felt like a loser for not making it to the gym. It's a half-hour walk. It's a half-hour walk back. All to do a 1 hour exercise session. Yeah, so half of my time would be walking, and I felt like an idiot for not going. Um, and I told her this, and she said, "Well, why have you said it like that? Why have you said you've only gone to the gym once? Isn't that a case of, wow, I made it to the gym this week. I and that should be a source of pride and not one of failure." And that genuinely that shattered my view of myself and the way that I guess almost like process everything that like happens. I guess it's like lowering the standards. But it's not really. It's more about changing the standards. It's not I have to go to the gym 4 times this week, or I'm a loser. It's I would like to go to the gym 4 times this week, and then if I don't go, I'm not a loser. Life just happened. Things happen. That doesn't mean now I won't go next week. That is, because once you consider yourself a loser or a failure, then that's almost a title you give yourself, and then you have the perfect excuse to never go again or to never try again. So it's not about setting yourself up to be either a winner or a loser, because you can't be. Call back to my first video. You can't be perfect every day. You're going to fail. Inevitably, you know, it is going to happen. You're going to not go to the gym one day. You're gonna eat shit one day. Yeah, there's lots of days where I don't write in my journal, but I don't consider those win-loss conditions. I just consider those. These are the things I like doing, and maybe one day I don't do it, and that's okay. I can cut myself some slack, give myself a little bit of a break. And I think one of the biggest things that pushed me to talk about this was how much doomerism and nihilism I see. And I think it's a lot of misunderstood nihilism, but I don't know much about philosophy, so I'm not gonna pretend. But a lot of doomerism, especially amongst people my age, and it makes sense when you think about the economic and political state of the world right now. But if I'm being honest, I'm sick of it. I'm so tired of nihilism and doomerism and people having a negative outlook on everything. I love Hopecore. I love those silly little Hopecore edits on my TikTok that play Pine Grove in the background. I love it. I love Spider Man because he always has hope, despite everything that happens. I know by the end of the movie or the comic or whatever that he is still somehow going to be a chronic optimist, and I think that's what I want to live up to. When I was a kid, I wanted to be Spider Man, and now I'm 22 years old, and I still want to be Spider Man. Just being a chronic optimist. I think that's I think that's what I want to be.